Hello, 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 and welcome to Updog Sports Talk. You've already seen my new chair. I'm Matt Miller. Joining me today, again, is Justin McGovern and Intern Tones. How's it going, guys?
Good.
We're
It's
doing
time to
Justin's
talk about
favorite division and three of his least favorite teams of all time. Justin, do you want to care to tell everybody what
we're talking about the AFC East. We're currently in the series where we're diving through all 32 NFL teams, and today the journey takes us through the AFC East. Matt, how about you tell the people what we're about?
We here at Updog Sports Talk love to stick up for the little guy. We were founded on that principle. We got tired of seeing the 1% of the top athletes talked about. The 1%, top 1% of teams talked about. We want to stick up for the Miami Dolphins of the world and the Bills of yesteryear. Yeah. The Dolphins are a team that I've wanted to see more from them since they got Tua. And I do think that a lot of people have wanted to see more from this team. By the way, they brought in Pharaoh Brown. You remember Pharaoh Brown, Justin? That name should sound familiar to you.
Why does that name sound... Remind me.
He was... I'm pretty sure he was an Oregon wide receiver. I'm losing my mic here. Pretty sure he was an Oregon wide receiver. And now he's at tight end. Oh my gosh. Going down.
So I'll take over for a moment while you figure out your situation. Please mute yourself and figure it out. Oh my gosh. We have Mike dismantling on camera right now.
And it just keeps going downhill.
It just keeps undoing itself.
They didn't really make any impact free agent pickups. I do like that they got James Daniels because they desperately needed offensive linemen. But, Minkah Fitzpatrick is somehow back. They actually traded back for him after, they traded him to the Steelers for years and now traded back for him. So that's kind of a wild move. But otherwise, they mostly brought in a lot of depth at certain spots. But it felt like they didn't have the cap space to make any impact additions.
Yeah, they brought in... the biggest names are Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, I think is how you say it. James Daniels at left guard from Pittsburgh, but that's from an offensive line in Pittsburgh they don't like to talk about. Brought in Zach Wilson, so I guess if Tua goes down with another concussion, they have another guy that can fail. Brought in Alexander Madison, who comes with some experience. Willie Gay Jr. comes with some experience. They traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick. They brought in Artie Burns. They're trying. You can see they're trying. They brought in so many guys, and one of the best things that they've done is when they drafted Kenneth Grant. When Christian Wilkins left to go to Vegas, you want to say it?
You know what school he went to?
Yeah. Go ahead.
He was waiting for that one.
I think Grant has the intangibles to fill the shoes that Christian Wilkins left. Christian Wilkins was not just a big locker room guy. Like he joked around a lot. Like he was what you thought of as a defensive lineman, a guy who jokes but gets the job done. Kenneth Grant can fill those shoes. They brought in Jonah. Do you know how to say it, Justin?
No, I don't know how to say it. The offensive lineman out of Arizona. He was a nice pickup there in the second round. Some people even thought he could go.
Savanea?
That might be close. But yeah, he was a guy in the second round who maybe was someone that people thought could even go in the first round. So that was a good draft pickup, and I was finally, it's about time you guys did something on the offensive line, because that has been their major issue for years here. It's been they haven't been able to protect Tua, and we continue to see Tua in this tough situation here where, I mean, it's scary to think he could be a hit from being out of the NFL.
Yeah, not just for the season, but like forever. And I think that's why they're so deep at quarterback. They brought in Zach Wilson. They drafted Quinn Ewers, which I think he probably could have gone like 4th or 5th round. I think that would have been a.
I think that was actually like a pretty good steal. Like, you could actually end up shaping a future around 7th round pick Quinn Ewers. Like, he has the upside to be able to be really good. Like, I don't know what exactly happened last year, why everything seemed off for him in the offense, but he's played good in big moments. Like, so he's a guy that could really turn out to be better than expected out of a 7th round pick. Like, you could end up making a future out of this.
And they took the round before Ollie Gordon, the second from Oklahoma State, guy in his junior year who lit college football on fire, and everyone thought his senior year was going to be even better. Took a little bit of a step back, but I think the talent's still there, and I think if there's one guy who can get at least the run game going is the former run game coordinator from the San Francisco 49ers, Mike McDaniel. I love Mike McDaniel. I think he's a whole vibe. He's Miami. He's what you think of in modern day Miami. Like, not when you think of Miami, you think of the 80s and everyone's coked out. But like modern day Miami is Mike McDaniel, and I think he's also a guy on the hot seat. I don't want him to get fired, but like the sun is setting pretty quick on Mike McDaniel here, and if he can't get it figured out, somebody else will eventually within the next 50 years. So, but he's a guy who can get Ollie Gordon going alongside Achane. Tyreek Hill in and out of the news, house burnt down, and then he's got another baby mama. So
I mean, he may actually have a few this offseason. You know, we know how busy he's been getting, so he has probably about 3 or 4 more this offseason, I'm sure.
I just don't like the group of receivers they have behind Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
That is one of the best duos in the NFL for sure, but yeah, they definitely lack depth behind those two. And we're starting to see now, like, are we getting to the point where, because Tyreek Hill's he obviously, his main threat is speed, but he's made himself a good career because he's also a good route runner and everything like that on top of his speed. When you're starting to see him get that age where the speed is starting to slow down a little bit, you could see that he's less of a threat. Like, now, I think we're almost hitting the point where he's no longer that guy who's going to bust for 200 yards in a given game if you're not running the right defense. Like, he doesn't provide that anymore. Jalen Waddle may actually be their best receiver at this point.
Oh, 100%. He's one of the top receivers in the league and very underrated. Goes under the radar in Miami. They just need production from Tyreek Hill, and I would say probably should sign another receiver, whether, again, yet another episode with Gabe Davis, bringing him up, but Gabe Davis would be really good here. I think that would be a good target. They got Darren Waller out of retirement. I think if he can get going with everything and up to speed, I think he would be a good target.
Yeah, how we have not brought that up right now? They had to trade the Giants for him, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's get Tony.
Fitzpatrick. Go ahead.
Let's get Tony's thoughts on the Dolphins.
You know, they're a pretty uninspiring looking team when you really look at it. I kind of have a little bit of a soft spot for them myself. You know, I think just talking soccer, you know, like Inter Miami did a collab with the Miami Dolphins, and you know, their kits are typically pink, but you know, they did a teal with the orange, and it looked so sick. You know, so like, it's an organization that has a lot of history. You know, but is Tua gonna go the distance? I don't know. You know, like you said, he's one hit away. and then at that point you're in the same conversation as, the Jets.
But I mean, looking at the Miami Dolphins and knowing how they operate, they're also probably 2 games out of the playoff race already. So like their upside is like cusp of playoff appearance. Their downside is Arch Manning sweepstakes. So
Yeah.
it's too big of a gap. Like the Bengals, you know what you have. The Bills, you know what you have. And yeah, I'm going with top teams, but like at least with the Bengals, they finished mid-pack, so like that they're a better comparison. You know what you have with the Bengals. You don't know what you have with the Dolphins. You don't know what Tua is going to show up. You don't know what the defense is going to do, despite having a lot of returning production, hitting on some picks in the draft. You just don't know what some of these guys are going to do on defense. And like outside of Waddle and Hill, are you even going to have any of the other guys hit 500 yards? Or are you just going to have 2 receivers competing for 1,500 yards? Like, I don't think that's how football is anymore. Like,
Yeah.
and then offensive line, like, they clearly haven't spent a whole lot of money. They traded Laramie Tunsil. Like, they traded, Armstead retired. Like, they don't have that anchor anymore. Like, and even with the anchor, they didn't have anyone else aside.
It feels like every time they take like a step forward, there's another step back, and they just can't seem to get that figured out. I think on the positive, like I see some good pass rusher here. There's Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson, Bradley Chubb, Chop, and then at corner, one of my favorite names, Storm Duck.
You got a good safety duo on Mika Fitzpatrick and Fetu Milifonwu. Cam Smith.
That way to roll that off the tongue.
Thanks. That kind of just comes naturally. But Cam Smith, like he was a dog at South Carolina. So like if he kind of steps up a little bit, like you don't have that shutdown corner anymore. You just traded away Jalen Ramsey. You got rid of Xavier Howard last year, and there was another corner a couple years ago that they got rid of that was a top talent. So like, you don't really have. I mean, Storm Duck, undrafted last year. Cam Smith, second round.
Kind of putting some pressure under the feet of Storm Duck there.
Yeah, and like Artie Burns starting the season on the PUP list. He was a former first-round pick. Maybe he can get something going, but like he's not Jalen Ramsey. It's just like you look at the roster and you can see the young core is there, but then you look at the roster from a slightly different angle and you're like, "Whoa, that is bad." So it's like I don't see playoffs from them. This is what I'm getting at. Yeah. I think Mike McDaniel's tenure is already, the writing is on the wall.
The writing's on the wall. You
like, subscribe, follow us. At Updog Sports Talk everywhere. Tell your friends about us. We don't just do football. Right now we're doing NFL. Justin is spearheading the college football campaign. And Intern Tones and I will be coming up with a plan to implement MLS coverage as the season winds down and getting into probably one of the more interesting parts of the season. So a lot coming up this fall. Right now we're just recording and posting. So for the next month or so, until both seasons starts, we're probably going to be just daily posting videos, getting teams out there for people to hear about. We'll be live this fall, so we'll catch you then. See you guys. I don't have a mouse. We'll just